Hey there, friend. It's Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience. I'm super excited for this one, probably because this is going to be Q&A day. Did you know it was Q&A day? It is now. It's Q&A day. This is a question that came up. I wanted to share it here on the podcast because I don't think you're going to like my answer because I didn't like my answer. I didn't like my answer at all. But it is what it is. So I thought this would be a great thing because it's a topic that I think we need to talk about. I think we need to talk about it. When I gave my answer, I was like, I don't even like this answer, but the truth is the truth, and we just gotta we just gotta roll with it. Plus, you're gonna get to hear a little bit more about our newest edition here at Beyond Obedience in the Franken household. It's not what you think. All right, let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. All right. Hey there, friend. Okay, I want to kind of jump into this just because I gotta get it out there. So first of all, this is a question that it was a question that was on one of my TikToks, about how to build a beautiful relationship with your dog when you don't have a lot of time. And the question came up. It's a very simple question. It said, my dog bites me when I'm petting him or petting other dogs. So how could I prevent that? And the reason why I wanted to share that question and I wanted to talk about it a little bit today is because my very first thought that came into my head, and essentially what I wrote down for the response to this question, I ended up writing it and I was like, oh, she's not going to like that. And then I thought, I don't even like that. It's just, I don't even like that. Can you guess what my answer was? I'm going to talk about basically about my dog bites me when I'm petting him. We can talk about the second half of it, but let's just talk about the first half of that question. My dog bites me when I'm petting him. My response to that was, ooh, stop petting him. Oh, gosh. See, I didn't like it again when I said it again. But that was my very first, like, I kind of go with when people write to me, or, I mean, if you've had a chance to ask me a question via email or whatnot, when people write to me, when I read the questions, what's the first thing that comes to my head, you know? Because I think that we spend a lot of time, especially for me, I spend a lot of time thinking about things and the right way to say it so that I don't either offend somebody or somebody else. But the bottom line is, it's dog training, so you're gonna offend somebody. But that was the first thing that came to my mind was like, stop petting him. Then, if I have a dog that's biting me when I'm petting him, I'm gonna just stop petting them. Now here's the thing to that. I don't know anything about this dog. She didn't give me any of the parameters of this dog. Is this dog a puppy? Puppies like to bite, chew on things when they're little. I don't know. Is this dog biting like with ill intent, like, get away from me? But I think no matter what, I was like, just stop petting the dog. Like, why are we petting the dog? And that led me into um, sort of another sort of avenue of thought process here, which was the idea of affection and let's get a little bit real about affection because this does come up a lot. This does come up a lot. And I'm going to share with you the story of the new addition here in the Franken household so that you know that I get it. I'm very blessed currently with the dogs that I have because all of them, I would say, enjoy affection. They enjoy physical touch as their love language, let's say. Have you read that book, The Five Love Languages? Anyone? Anyway, physical touch being one of those love language. I believe my dogs really do like it. I always used to make a joke about this idea that you're not supposed to hug dogs because dogs don't like hugs. That's actually true. Okay. That's actually true. A lot of dogs tolerate hugs. They come to understand that it is a form of affection that humans like to do. But if you think about it from the dog's perspective, anything coming at you and grabbing you around your neck from a survival perspective is a little intimidating and a little bit forward, if you know what I'm saying, right? So that's why we're always like, don't hug strange dogs. Don't go up and hug a strange dog because you don't know. And I think our dogs, especially ones that we've raised and whatnot, they have come to accept the fact that this is a really weird way that humans express their affection. So, but it's not normal for a dog. And I still say that, but I will go up to my noofs and totally bear hug my noofs and be like, dogs don't like hugs. And I still to this day do that because my dogs literally, they do tolerate it. They like it. They come back. And so many people can be like, my dog loves to cuddle and my dog loves to snuggle. And that is true for your dog. And that might be true for your dog, but we don't extend that to other dogs, right? That's the bottom line. And so I believe that I'm quite blessed because my dogs do enjoy physical touch as a form of affection. They seek it out. They come and do the nose bump and be like, you can keep petting me if you want, the Jack Russell, when she's lying beside me, she likes to she likes belly rubs. You get to know your own dog and what they like, ear rubs, all of those things. So I'm very blessed. My dogs, they dig it. But I also am not naive not naive to say that all dogs don't like not all dogs, right? Like not all dogs are going to like it. And for some dogs, I don't think that affection or physical touch is their love language. That is a thing that happens. Some dogs just don't like it. And I know sometimes it's hard coming to terms with that. I've had this discussion with lots of people before where they're just like, I really want the dog to be cuddly, and they're just not cuddly. And I'm like, that's unfortunately a you problem, right? I don't think it's fair for us to try to make a non-cuddly dog cuddly. I really don't. I think it's one of those I mean, if you really want to be affectionate, figure out what is your dog's love language? What is their love language? If it's not physical touch, what is it? Maybe it's just quality time, spending time with you, just being around. Maybe it's play. Maybe it's like being like working together and playing together. I don't know. I don't know your dog, but I'm just saying we want to make sure that when we're doling out our affection, that it is appreciated on both ends. And this isn't always the case. And more often than not, whenever I come across a human dog connection where they are struggling to find that common ground, there's usually an expectation for the dog to just like it, and we don't necessarily want that. So we want to check that. What's your expectation? Are you expecting your dog to be something that they're not? And what do you do if they're not affectionate? Well, this is where I'm going to tell you the story of our cat Charlie. So Charlie came into our life. Well, I can tell you exactly, actually, the moment that Paisley and I made this decision because it was really close to our boot camp. We were working really, really hard on the boot camp. I still remember it. We were sitting at the table. Paige and I were trying to get everything ready for the boot camp. So this would have been back in, September. And my son sent a message with a picture that said, "Hey, do we want a cat?" We had never talked about getting another cat or anything like that. But both of us looked at the picture, and the next thing you know, I think both of us were like trying to find an escape out of working. Like it was like this was a great distraction because we were in it, and we were both like, "Yeah, we totally want that kitten." This was just like a stray cat had kittens, that kind of a thing. I think Paisley's regretting some of that now because we've had to put a lot of moolah into this cat to make sure that she was healthy and vaccinated and spayed and all of that sort of thing. But long story, we got this cat. Here's the thing about Charlie. She was really super cute when she was very, very small. She was very super cute. We played with her with the toys, did the little, the little cat toys on the stick, and we spent a lot of time with her. And and Charlie started to become a lot more inquisitive, and she started really getting used to the house and all of that good stuff. And we soon came to realize that Charlie does not like really anything. Just she doesn't really like much of anything. She's a cat. Some of you are gonna be like, she's a cat. The contrast is, I will say, Paisley has another cat. Her name is Peanut. It's a rag doll. And if you know anything about ragdoll cats, they are literally like floppy rag dolls that'll let you do anything to them. They're the most laid back. You can just carry this cat around. Like, she loves all of that stuff. So in contrast to that, we literally have a little spitfire of a kitten that, lets us know that she does not want to be touched. She doesn't really like being picked up either. And why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this? Because as I mentioned, I've been blessed with really cuddly dogs, and I have really been struggling, and I mean struggling, with not petting this cat. Like, I want to so badly pet the cat. She's nice and soft, right? And she will be... And I'm almost embarrassed to say this. She will be like on the back of the chair, like sleeping. And I'll walk by and be like, "Oh, look at how cute." And my hand, like, it just goes. Like, I can't, it's like my arm has a mind of its own, and it just reaches across. And as I'm reaching, I'm like, "Oh, she doesn't like that." And then sure enough, she'll like look at me, side eye me, and then she bats my hand away and then gives me the look that is like, "Don't touch me. Don't touch me, human." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, why do you not like attention?" And this happens all the time. Now, here's the thing about it. And this is what I find fascinating about this cat. It's not that she doesn't like people. In fact, she loves us, all of us. Like, when she gets up in the morning, she usually sleeps in Paisley's room and the door is closed. So when Paisley gets up and the door comes out, like, opens, she runs out of the room. She comes to see everybody. If you go downstairs to like check the fire, she'll run down with you, and she'll jump up on the logs on the by the fireplace and be like, "What are you doing?" She's very, very curious. She loves to be with you. She just doesn't want you to touch her. Like, and I'm like, "Why you want to be with me if I can't touch you?" And it's opened up this whole dialogue in my head where I'm literally like, "Tracy, just leave her alone. Like, she likes to be with you. Why can you not just accept this?" And I'm like, "I can't. I need to touch her. I want to hold her. I want to cuddle this kitten." She does not like it. And even when I'm if I'm in my bedroom and I'm working in my bedroom, I like to work on my bed with a little table, because that way all the dogs can get up and it's all cozy and nice. And Charlie will also come into the room, and she lays right beside my leg right with me, and she will like she'll be content as all, like lying on the bed with all the dogs just lying down beside my leg, and I can't help it. I'll see her and I'll be like, oh, you're here, and I'll pet her, and then she has this like look like, oh, you ruined everything, and then she leaves, and I'm like, why can't I just not touch her? And so um I'm telling you this because I want people to understand that I get it. If you are someone who has a dog that perhaps doesn't like the type of affection that you want to give, which does happen quite a bit, I think, if I'm, thinking out loud here, I probably more so with small dogs. I think a lot of small dogs, because they get picked up all the time and people are like, I want to cuddle you because you're small and cuddly. We might see that ornery kind of disagreement from the smaller dogs. But um, I I get it now. Like I get it at like a deeper level that it's really really challenging. And what am I doing about it? I'm just reminding myself it's not her love language. It's not how she wants to connect with people. She doesn't. She loves people. She likes to hang around you. She wants to be in your presence. She doesn't want you touching her, and that seems fair. I think that's also been made a little bit worse because of the vet appointments, because we did just recently get her spayed, and then she had some issues with her spay, so she had to go back and get her sutures closed again, and so now she probably has that like people suck kind of vibe happening with her. But she's a delightful little cat. Oh, that's not, who am I kidding? She's a terror. She's an absolute terror in our house. But the Jack Russell Terrier loves her. Like loves her. Like they're best of friends. They wrestle. I'm like, I couldn't have asked for a better buddy for my Jack Russell. So, uh, so, so we have a plus. Anyway, getting back to the question at hand, this idea that if I have a dog that is disagreeing with me petting them, we're going to have a discussion about what is your dog's actual love language and how can we get to a place where we as the humans, our grabby little hands, if we could just keep our grabby little hands to ourselves and find another way to express affection for that dog. I think those kind of dogs do have their own love language. It's something a little bit different than maybe what you were expecting. But taking some time to see like what can I do to really express affection should be about the other person or dog in this case, right? It shouldn't be about you. It shouldn't be about like, I want to do it the way I want to do it because this is how it makes me feel. It should be about, I want to make sure that my affection that I'm giving is well received by the other individual, right? Because that's kind of the point. Is kind of my point. As for the other part of the question, this dog also biting you when you're petting other dogs, that's a whole other story. And that would be one that I need to know more info about that. Like, I would need to know more info. I mean, she did kind of reply back and say, I thought that she would stop biting me when she grows up. That's never a thing. This is the 2-for-1. That's never a thing. I will tell you that right now. I hear that all the time. People talk about like puppy biting and nipping, and they should wean out of it. They still need feedback. Okay, right? They still need feedback. If you have a puppy that is biting you, and you're just like, I'm just gonna wait this out and hope that it gets better. It doesn't. It does not. Right? I have talked about this in the past. Maybe not on the podcast because I don't think I talk a lot about puppy stuff on the podcast. But there is a moment during puppy development, and I'm speaking as someone who has always had multiple dogs, and I've always raised my puppies with multiple dogs, and so I'm talking about dog to dog interaction. There is a moment in the dog to dog interactions where the dog has the puppy around and they're really tolerant of puppy behavior, like biting, nipping, and jumping and all of the crazy puppiness, that they're kind of tolerant. And I always hear people say things to me like, oh my gosh, my older dog is so amazing with the puppy. And I'm like, for now. But one day, they're going to revoke the puppy pass. Okay. The puppy pass is the pass where all adult dogs, or not all, some are still cranky, but most adult dogs will give puppies a puppy pass, saying, like, you can act like a puppy for a while. But they get to a certain age where the older dogs will be like, now we're going to take that pass away because you have to stop acting a fool. You have to, put your big puppy pants on, big dog pants on, and we got to grow up a little bit. And that's when you'll start seeing those dogs correct that behavior. So they give feedback back to the puppy that is like, we don't accept that behavior anymore. And many people will say, well, that doesn't seem fair because they did. For the puppy pass, it's a rite of passage kind of a thing, I believe. Like, I do believe that, it's not fair to do that to, let's say, an adopted dog that you bring into your home, and you're like, I'm just going to let them do what they want to do until they settle in, and then I'll start putting boundaries in. I never say that's a good idea. You want to put those boundaries in first. But when it comes to puppies, the puppy pass is a thing. And when it's revoked, it's not like the puppy's like, that's not fair. You've always let me chew on your ear and now you don't. They just sort of accept it. Like it's an acceptance thing. So anytime somebody says, I thought that my dog would grow out of it, they just don't. They just don't. They still need feedback. There has to be some feedback to let them know, I don't really like this behavior. It's not what I want, to continue, kind of a thing. Um, and so what else did she say? But now she's around 1 year old and still nothing. Every time I come, she starts jumping on me and wiggling her tail. So I don't know. Okay. So wiggling your tail, tail wagging and jumping. That's all excitement. That's excitement is excitement, right? Same with when people say, well, their hackles were up, or their hair was standing up. That's excitement. Excitement is excitement. It's not necessarily indicative of an emotion other than excitement, right? We don't know. So, I mean, reading some of that, this is just me thinking out loud. Why not? I'm already talking. Reading some of that, it sounds like you have a puppy that hasn't really learned how you want to be greeted. You didn't nail down your greeting ritual, right? And again, this isn't about like, oh my gosh, harsh corrections or kneeing the dog in the chest or, correcting them for doing these things. It's about literally guiding them to what is it that you actually want, right? Most people don't know. The greeting ritual is, generally speaking, it is decided, whether you know it or not, it's decided very early on when you first get the puppy home. And the problem is that when you first get a puppy home, you bring that puppy to your face because they smell so good and the puppy breath is awesome and they're so cute and you want them in your face. So we teach them at a very, very, very early age that the way that humans like to be greeted is right up in your face, like right up in your face. And we get really excited about it. So we're like, oh my God, we talk really high and we get really like energized and excited about it. And that's what we teach them. This is how humans like to be greeted. It's not how dogs like to be greeted, by the way. They've already got feedback from their litter mates and from their mom of how dogs like to be greeted. They know that's not how dogs like to be greeted, but you brought them into Humansville and you started going, showing them, this is how I like to be greeted. I like to have you in my face and I get all excited and you get excited and I laugh and I giggle because when they're puppies, they're small and they're fun and we laugh. And then they get bigger and then they start jumping on us and then their biting becomes harder. And then we go, oh gosh, I don't like that now. And they're like, I don't know. This is what we agreed upon. You taught me this. This is on you. So the feedback has to be like, this isn't how we greet, right? And you can do that in a whole bunch of different ways. And I'm not going to get into that here because we're going on to 24 minutes here, but you can get into like how to do that in a number of different ways. But the idea is we just need to teach your dog, this is our new greeting ritual. She's only 1. She'll get it. But it's going to take a little bit more than if you had done this much earlier on. So anyway, there you go. This is just me thinking out loud as I read comments on my TikTok. I'm not, I'll be honest with you. If you follow me on TikTok, I'm not great at answering comments over there. I generally speaking just record the videos and put them up, and then I go put them over on Facebook, and I talk in my communities over on Facebook. So if I've ever ghosted you over there, that's why. You got to come into the community. I'm really trying to simplify things, and I want people to be like in the community. So come over to Living Beyond Obedience. That's over on Facebook. You can ask me questions over there. We're going to be doing Q&As over there as well. Every once in a while, I'll hop on and do a live over there. If you are someone that's like loves group coaching and a group community of the most amazing, phenomenal people in the entire world, and you're struggling with, your dog's fear-based reactivity or reactions, I highly encourage you to come over to the Fearful Dog. That is our group coaching program and course. It's you can do it at your own leisure, but you have the support of the most amazing people ever. And then finally, new this year in 2025, you can work with me one-on-one. So if you're like, I really need help sort of nailing all this thing down, you can book a leadership coaching call with me. We can sit down over Zoom. We'll talk things out. We'll get to it. That's what we're going to do. So those are your options. Come on over to Living Beyond Obedience on Facebook. That's free. Join the Fearful Dog Fearless Framework community. That's an incredible community. You get an online course and a program and all of the support you need. Or if you're like, I like to work with Tracy one-on-one, you can do that now too. All of that can be found over on beyondobedience.ca, beyondobedience.ca. Hit the Work With Me button on the website, and you'll be able to choose your adventure with me. All right, I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you are amazing, and so do I. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, please be sure to reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.